I'm Wyatt Cash with FedScoop TV, and we're here at the Security Through Innovation Summit with Scott Montgomery, Vice President and Chief Technical Strategist at Intel Federal. Welcome. Appreciate your joining us, Scott. And we're here to talk a little bit about security and innovation. So, Scott, first, tell us a little bit about when you think about the scope of security, what's maybe some of the main distinguishing features of the federal government relative to Intel's broader base of customers?
Sure. The thing that distinguishes federal, the CIO of the Army once told me, think of the Army as being 5 or 6 of the Fortune Global 100 smashed together and forced to exist in that kind of environment where they're multinational, they have differing levels of bandwidth, they have different mission needs. So the thing that distinguishes the government in particular is scale. The government is big, and their needs are big, and their needs are fast. It's not to say that a multinational bank doesn't have the same needs, but it's that sort of that blend of not only the scale, but also the fact that the federal government has particular certification requirements that makes them a little bit different animal.
And certainly many missions.
Many missions. And some of those missions we can't talk about, and some of those missions affect us every day.
Well, next I want to talk about a little bit of what you see from your perspective as some of the most fertile areas for innovation when it comes to security.
So this is a great question. I get asked this question all the time. And one of the things that I find fascinating is that we know there's a labor crisis. There is absolutely, OMB said, a principal over there said, there is a tremendous talent shortage in the federal government. Well, I would strike federal government. It's in the supporting community, the systems integrators, their contractors, in the banks, in the hospital networks. There will be, according to ISC2, there will be 1.6 million fewer workers by 2020 than are required for information security and privacy. So the fertile areas to me are how do we increase the labor efficiency of the people we do have so that they can cover more ground. And the way to do that is through automation. This is extremely fertile ground, not only for federal, but for all kinds of customers.
And what are some of the ideas that you've heard here at this conference or elsewhere about where will we get these workers for the security industry?
So this one is one that's very near and dear to my heart. We have partnered with a series of universities, Purdue and the University of Massachusetts in particular, to start training kids to be hands-on practitioners while they're still kids, while they're still at university. So they're carrying out career-like tasks while they're still earning their degree, so that when they leave school, they have a degree, they have technical certifications, and most importantly, they know what they're doing. The other thing that's great is, and we heard this from the panel this morning, was that the DoD, the intelligence community, the civilian organizations, they're all doing outreach to universities as well so that they can start to breed that next cadre of practitioners to make the numbers what they need to be.
Well, that'll be important. Lastly, what's maybe one project or two that you're working on at the moment that you're most excited about in the way of innovation and maybe a little around security?
Sure. So one of the things, again, back to automation, if we know there's a finite number of people, there's 24 hours in the day, and the number of tasks keeps increasing because of the number of devices. If you think about the industrial internet or the Internet of Things, the number of devices that have to be managed, it's increasing by orders of magnitude. So how do we do better information sharing between different vendors, between different systems integrators, between different government agencies in order to allow them to benefit from something that somebody else has already learned? And one of the projects I'm working on is creating a fabric by which that kind of information can be shared very cleanly, very quickly, and with very, very low bandwidth. Fascinating project.
Well, we're going to need it, and I appreciate that. I know folks like you are working on it. So, well, Scott, thanks for being with us. I'm Wyatt Cash with FedScoop TV. Thanks for being with us.